Scorpio, listen to me carefully for a moment, because something is already moving toward you, long before November 25th arrives. You might think you just clicked on another video, but deep down you can feel this isn't just another moment. There is a quiet trembling somewhere in your chest, a strange mix of calm and anticipation, like the air right before a storm breaks or the stillness right before the curtain rises. That feeling is not random. That feeling is the first sign that your soul already knows. A big reveal is coming, and your destiny is about to shift in a way that you will remember for a very long time. This isn't about fear, and it isn't about hype. This is about alignment. If your eyes are here, if your heart hasn't clicked away yet, I want you to stay with me until the end, because November 25th is not just a day on the calendar for you. It is a mirror, a doorway, and a decision point all wrapped into one. Think back over the last weeks or even months. Have you noticed the subtle strangeness around you? The same numbers showing up over and over. A name that keeps circling back into your awareness. A dream that felt too vivid to dismiss. A song that played at the exact moment your thoughts were drifting in a particular direction. These little glitches in your reality are not accidents. They're coordinates. The universe does not always send you thunder. More often it sends you patterns. And when you pay attention to those patterns, you begin to see that life has been slowly arranging itself to bring you to this exact point in time. November 25th carries the energy of revelation for you. Not necessarily because something loud explodes in your life, but because your inner vision finally becomes impossible to ignore. What has been blurry sharpens. What has been uncertain begins to make sense. The big reveal is not just what happens outside you, it is what awakens inside you. Astrologically, this timing is no coincidence. You are a child of Pluto, the planet of deep transformation, hidden power and rebirth, and you carry Mars in your energetic bones. Courage, drive, the will to walk through fire and keep going. Around this date, the sky forms a tension that is actually a gift. The sun highlights your sign's deeper houses, while activating aspects stir Pluto and Mars into conversation. It can feel like pressure, but spiritually it is like light shining into a locked room. What happens when the light finally reaches a place that has been dark for too long? At first you squint. You might not like everything you see. But then, slowly, you realize, now I know what I'm dealing with and now I can choose differently. November 25th holds that kind of energy, a cosmic spotlight on a part of your life that can no longer stay half awake. It may show up in your work, your finances, your relationships, or your sense of purpose, but the theme beneath it all is the same. You cannot live as the old version of yourself and still receive what belongs to the new one. You've been feeling this build for a while, that tension in your chest, the random waves of emotion that seem to arrive out of nowhere, the days when you're exhausted for no logical reason, as if your soul is processing more than your schedule can explain. This is not you being dramatic, and it is not you losing control. This is your old identity slowly cracking. For years you've carried other people's expectations, old stories, outdated beliefs about what you're allowed to want. You've been the strong one, the quiet one, the one who absorbs everyone else's chaos while pretending you're fine, but that costume no longer fits. November 25th is like the seam finally giving way. You are not falling apart. You are breaking open. The big reveal isn't just what life shows you. It's what your own heart finally admits. I can't keep living like this. I'm ready for something truer, even if it scares me. On this date, or very close to it, something in your reality may act as a trigger, a message, a conversation, a number sequence, a memory, an offer, an invitation, a quiet confession inside your own mind. It might not look dramatic from the outside, but for you it carries weight. It could be that one email that confirms what your intuition has been whispering. It could be hearing that someone from your past is returning, or has finally released you. It could be a sudden clarity about a job, a contract, a home, or a relationship that no longer matches who you are becoming. The reveal may also come as a realization that feels strangely calm, like, I'm done chasing what doesn't choose me, or I can't ignore this dream anymore, or I deserve better than this and I knew it all along. This is destiny at work, not as something outside you forcing your life to change, but as the part of you that is finally brave enough to tell the truth. For many Scorpios, this moment is deeply tied to choice. Destiny is not a movie playing in the background while you watch. Destiny is a series of invitations, and November 25th is one of those invitations written in bold ink. The energy suggests that you will be shown two paths, one that keeps you safe, small and familiar, and one that feels riskier but more honest. The big reveal is not, what will happen to me, but who will I become when this message arrives? Will you choose to answer the call, or will you pretend you didn't hear it? The universe may place an opening in front of you, a chance to step away from what is draining you or toward what lights you up. But the door does not walk through itself. This is where your free will becomes sacred, when you feel that inner nudge, when the sign appears, when the conversation finally happens. Your response becomes the brushstroke that paints the next chapter of your life. There is also a strong emotional thread woven through this energy. For some of you, November 25th will put a spotlight on love, on how you've been loved, how you've given love, and where you've mistaken intensity for intimacy. You're a sign of depth, Scorpio. Surface-level affection will never satisfy you. This reveal might show you who is truly capable of meeting you at that depth, and who has only been orbiting your life out of habit, convenience, or attachment. Someone's true colors may show, not to hurt you, but to free you. Or you might feel your heart begin to soften for someone new, or even for yourself in a way that surprises you. Love in this next chapter is not meant to be another battlefield. It is meant to be a mirror that reflects how far you've come in your healing. On this date, pay close attention to what your heart does when you think of certain people. Does it feel restless and small, or peaceful and expanded? That is a message in itself. In another layer, this energy speaks to your material life, your relationship with money, work, and stability. For a long time, you may have equated survival with sacrifice. You've worked hard, carried responsibilities that were never really yours, and tolerated situations that left your spirit hungry because you thought you had no other choice. The big reveal around November 25th may bring a realization about where your gifts have been undervalued, or where a new path is quietly opening up. Maybe an idea you've been ignoring suddenly feels urgent. Maybe a conversation about a new position, collaboration, or project appears seemingly out of nowhere. Maybe you finally see that staying where you are is costing you more than leaving ever could. This is not a promise of instant riches. It is an invitation to align your actions with your worth. Destiny does not drop bags of gold on your doorstep. It nudges you toward spaces where your value is recognized and then asks, will you walk there? You are not going through this alone. Scorpio often feels like the solitary sign, the one who carries secrets in silence, who fights battles in the dark. But in the field around you, there is spiritual support that becomes especially noticeable when you cross thresholds like this. Around this time, you may feel the presence of a guide, an ancestor, or a loving force that doesn't need a name. You might sense them in the way your body relaxes when you should be anxious, in the sudden comfort of a memory, or in the way a quiet sign appears just when you say, I don't know if I can do this. That hand on your shoulder may not be physical, but it is real. The big reveal is also this. You were never meant to carry everything by yourself. You are being guided, protected, and gently pushed toward a life that matches the light inside you. Not the fear, not the past, but the truth of who you are when you stop apologizing for your power. To work with this energy intentionally, you don't need complicated rituals or elaborate tools. What matters most is your presence. In the days around November 25th, take a moment to consciously pause. Light a candle, even a small one, and let it stand as a symbol of the flame you carry. Clean one corner of your space with intention, as if you are making room for a new chapter. Sit with a notebook and write without editing. What am I finally ready to release? What am I secretly ready to receive? Let whatever needs to come out, come out. If you feel guided, place your hand over your heart and whisper, I am ready for the truth that sets me free, even if it asks me to change. These simple acts are not about controlling the future. They are about telling the universe and yourself that you are willing to show up fully when the message arrives. And now, Scorpio, I want you to anchor this shift with your own voice. If anything in this message is already stirring something inside you, don't just listen, participate. In the comments, write, I am ready for my reveal. I choose alignment over fear. Those words are not just text on a screen. They are a declaration from your spirit, a signal that you are not just waiting to see what happens. You are consciously stepping into what you feel is coming. If this space feels like a lighthouse for your soul, consider staying connected, so that whenever you need guidance, reminders, or confirmation, you know there is a place you can return to and feel understood. Your engagement doesn't just support a channel, it strengthens a field of energy that helps more Scorpio souls find the messages they need in their own turning points. Before we close, I want to tell you something essential. This message is not a cage, it is a compass. What you've heard today is not a fixed sentence carved into stone, but a living story, one possible path among many that your energy is currently resonating with. Think of it as a symbolic map, a reflection of themes and potentials written in the language of stars, intuition, and archetypes. It is not meant to replace your judgment, your free will, or the practical choices you must make in your daily life. It is not financial advice, not a guarantee of events, not a command from outside you. It is a mirror held up to your inner landscape, so you can see more clearly what has been whispering there all along. If this narrative touches something true in you, keep the parts that resonate and let them soften, empower, and inspire you to choose more consciously. If parts do not land, let them pass like clouds across your sky, without fear or resistance, knowing that not every message is meant for every soul in the same way. See this as a gentle thought experiment for your spirit, an invitation to remember the power already living in your decisions, your awareness, and your capacity to transform. Your destiny does not arrive from outside with a stamp of fate. It unfolds through the countless small ways you say yes to healing, yes to truth, and yes to the life that feels like it was always secretly written for you. And as November 25th approaches, know this. The biggest reveal is not what the day brings. It is who you allow yourself to become when it does.